There's a slippery feeling I keep chasing, like a phantom dopamine hit, and used to spark the minute I booted up my PlayStation 1 or 2. I'd be lying if I said them sounds didn't bring back something in me. Amazement, wonder. Even just remembering back then, turning it on and listening to it was just something else, something special. The television humming, the glow illuminating across my face. I thought I could summon it at will. Just reinstall the classics, click play, and watch the years peel back. But every time I try, it's like searching for a childhood treehouse that's been bulldozed to make room for a parking lot. I land in the main menu, and all the colors feel a few shades duller. The music cues still hit, yet the magic has changed its address. When I was 10, a single game CD felt like an entire universe. No patches, no DLC, no forms explaining optimal builds. Just me, the controller, and the excitement of not knowing what was around the next corner. These days, I have a digital library, so bloated. It scrolls like an endless grocery receipt. Ironically, all that abundance leaves me starved for wonder. I hop between genres the way I scroll through YouTube past midnight, searching for something, anything, that'll scratch the itch.
Hi, I'm Brooke Burke, and I play Rachel Teller in Need for Speed Underground 2. Playing a racer in the game was a lot of fun, but on the streets, I make sure to drive safely and responsibly. When it comes to racing, make sure you only do it on the streets of Underground 2. So remember to always use your seatbelts and obey the laws of the road.
30 minutes in, the boredom creeps up like an uninvited background noise. Close, uninstall, on to the next. The heartbreak isn't that the games got worse. Many of them play smoother than ever. Lovingly remastered in 4K, that is. The heartbreak is that I got older and traded the raw thrill and discovery for mere convenience, I would say. Back then, I didn't weigh frame rates or mechanics. I was busy inventing stories in my head, filling the blank space the hardware couldn't render. Now the blank spaces are gone, and all that polish gave me nothing to imagine, no room for my younger self to breathe. It reminds me of wandering back to my old primary school last year, expecting the playground to look exactly as it did in memory. Instead, there's a shiny new jungle gym where the rusty metal slides used to be, and a fresh coat of paint hiding the curved initials my friends and I swore would outlive us all. The place is objectively nicer, safer, maybe even more fun. but it's not mine anymore. And that stings deeper than I like to admit. I catch myself mourning something intangible, an ecosystem of limitations that forced creativity.
Shit. Didn't think they'd ever let him out.
He kept his head down, helps people forget.
People will remember soon enough. When they see him walking down the streets of their neighborhoods, it will be bad for business.
Well, what are we gonna do, Sonny?
We treat him like an old friend and keep him busy out of town, okay?
Small resolutions made big adventures. Awkward control schemes demanded patience. Save file corruption taught real loss. Today's convenience kills friction. And well, without friction, there's nothing for the spark to catch. I boot a game, skip the tutorial because I know most games. I know the systems. And then I wonder why awe never shows up. Perhaps awe requires surrender, and surrender is hard when you're spoiled for choice. I don't want this video to spiral into pure nostalgia bait or cranky gamer ranting. I'm grateful for modern day design, for accessibility options that let more people play, for communities that keep dormant franchises alive. Yeah, the more I celebrate progress, the sharper the contrast becomes with that irreplaceable first-time feeling. One I can only describe as being cracked open to infinite possibilities. Growing up means realizing infinity has boundaries. That your brain eventually maps every corner, and then maps, well, they erase mystery. So where do I go from here? Maybe the answer isn't in reliving the exact past, but in reviving the mindset I carried then. Seek games that scare me a little with their weirdness. Let myself get stuck instead of Googling the solution. Test a genre I've always assumed wasn't my thing. Play on harder settings, not to prove anything, but to feel vulnerable again. And sometimes turn the screen off entirely. Walk outside at dusk, smell the air. Let boredom stretch into curiosity. The spark might not come from pixels anymore. It might come from noticing a stray shaft of sunlight on a sidewalk, and remembering that once I mistook it for a secret portal. I'll keep revisiting the classics, but not to resurrect the exact emotions. I revisit them to honor the person who felt those emotions first. To remind myself that wonder just shape shifts. Refusing to be pinned to a single soundtrack, a single map, a single save file. Maybe that's the real message hidden between the load screens. The good old days aren't a place where we can just go back to. They're a lens we can still look through, if we're brave enough to leave a little room unrendered. After all, maybe nostalgia isn't a destination, but a compass. It points us towards what mattered, not to what existed. The map is new, the horizon shifts, but the compass needle still quivers towards wonder. And all we have to do, maybe, is follow it. even if it takes us somewhere we've never been before. There's a very, very specific grin that stretches across my face the moment I load into Battlefront 2. The map is a giant orbital sandbox stitched together by overlapping objectives. I don't know, it's hard to say, but battles in today's kind of games don't feel the way they did back then. Like destroying certain parts of a ship, or using your TIE fighters to destroy enemy ships, or vice versa. What blew my mind is there was an opening tutorial, but that didn't cover a lot. There was no on-screen coach, no glowing breadcrumb trail, just a handful of verb. Fly, shoot, board, sabotage. And the quiet confidence that players would stitch them all into their own legend. And I did. I booted up today on a widescreen monitor. The resolution stretched. The model's a bit blocky. And I still catch myself leaning forward the same way I did. Because it isn't the polygon count that triggers the nostalgia. It's the ritual. Spawn launch, roar into the void, board the enemy ship, or die, destroy all their stuff. It was absolutely amazing. Games like Command & Conquer, Red Alert, Age of Empires 2, Gran Turismo 3. I watched my brothers play them for endless hours, waiting for a turn or a snippet. Jack and Dexter, or newer nostalgia, Black Ops. Those were the good old days, as everyone says.